Welcome everyone, and thank you for attending our webinar on the new myOSIsoft.com and the OSIsoft customer portal. Today you will find out why, what, and when things will be changing. My name is Tom Trappell and I will be your moderator today. Our presenter this morning is Randy Esposito, Customer Success Operations Lead at OSIsoft. Today's webinar will roughly take 45 minutes, followed by 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A. With that, I will now hand it off to Randy Esposito to get started with today's presentation. Randy, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Tom. To start off, let me just talk a little bit about myself. I've been at OSIsoft for about 2.5 years now, and I'm currently the group lead for our Customer Success Operations team, with responsibility for a lot of the processes and tools that we use across both our support and our customer success organization. My connections with Pi goes all the way back to the year 2000 when I first touched the Pi system as a controls engineer. And throughout my career, I've done various things with Pi. Most recently, in 9 years before I joined OSI, I was actually an enterprise level customer. I've called into support much over those years. I've given presentations at our Pi World as a customer, and now I'm really excited to actually have joined OSIsoft. So with that in mind, let me first kind of talk just a little bit about our support organization before I get into myOSIsoft and our new customer portal. Our support organization is staffed by highly trained engineers in 16 countries around the world, and we offer 24/7 support from all of those locations. We have been able to achieve a 4.7 out of 5 customer satisfaction score. We've actually answered more than 50,000 cases last year, those engineers. And one of the things that we see as a vision for our support organization and our customer success organization as a whole is that we really want to accelerate how our customers realizing the value from our software. And one of the things that our support organization does in that respect is to really help customers solve problems with their software as quickly as we can. And with that idea and that kind of a vision in mind is where we've come into my kind of next slide, when we started talking about myOSIsoft. And we started talking about the idea of reconstructing the digital support experience that our customers have with us. We've been talking about digital transformation as a company for 38 years. Our software is the foundation for many customers' digital transformation projects, and we ourselves have embarked on that type of a journey. And yes, it is a journey, and I think we're all very well aware of what that journey can kind of look like. Today, I'm really going to be talking about the processes and systems pieces of a digital transformation. And I want to be really clear before I kind of get into a lot of this. We are not changing how we do support. We are not changing the type of people we staff with support. We are not changing those that are answering the questions. We're not changing our phone process. What we are trying to do here is really transform the digital experience our customers, yourselves, have with us. And where I'm going to focus in the rest of this presentation is really on the why. Why are we doing these things? Why are we changing certain processes? What was our overarching ideas when we looked at this? If you want very specific details of what some of the features and functionality are going to look like, you're welcome to go to my.osisoft.com today. All of that information is there, but I want to spend some time with the why. So as I kind of go through this digital transformation, and we as an entire group, we started looking at these overarching themes. Our first idea that we had is we want to have streamlined and efficient interactions between yourselves as our customers and us as OSIsoft. And what do I mean by that? So working in, say, the lean manufacturing business in areas, you have the idea of non-value added time. Anything that you are doing that is a task that's administrative, that's not really moving the problem forward, that's collecting information, that's handing things off to multiple people. We want as an organization to spend more time solving problems and less time actually doing the administrative work, and that's key to any kind of a transformation process. So we spent a lot of time looking at all of the interactions and all the processes we have, both internally and with our customers, and tried to find those places where we can remove any administrative pieces, any things that are not adding time, anything that is taking away from actually solving the problem at hand. The next overarching theme we had was transparency and control. We want to make more information available to our customers. We want to allow them to control things, to open cases, to actually, and I'll get into this more, to see services, to open a service, to request a service, to see users, to load POs, to do all of these various things and have all this various information available to you at your fingertips in an easy-to-use digital system. The next thing that we talked about, and another overarching idea, is to enable customers to self-serve. Now, at face, that says, wait a minute, I still want to be able to call support, or I still want to be able to talk to a person, and by no means we are changing that. But we get a lot of requests from customers that they want to be able to more easily find information, that they want to be able to search our knowledge base more effectively, that they want to be able to make a request online, to know whom to contact, to make that interaction with us easier and through a click of a button rather than necessarily a phone call. And we want to enable those people to do those types of processes they feel more comfortable with. And finally, we talked about an overall enhanced digital experience with the idea of opening doorways. Right now, most of the digital experience that you have with OSIsoft is centered around our tech support organization. But what we want to do is to open the doorways to start including interactions with our services team, or with our order processing team, or with your EPM or your customer success manager, with these various other parts of the organization, so that you have one place where you can go see all those kinds of interactions and manage them and be able to take action against them. So to kind of continue on here, there have been six areas that we have been focusing on in our newsletters, in our marketing site, in all the communications that we have put out there. And I'm going to kind of step through each of these areas and start talking about what we're changing and the why behind it and how it all fits into those 4 different overarching themes. So just as a quick iteration, I'm going to talk about our online support case process and management, our expanded knowledge base, and improved search. And then I'm going to kind of get into more than just support. Like I said, opening doorways to different parts of our organization. The ability to customize your homepage, putting information at your fingertips. And then the final piece, talk really about customer user management. And again, I'm going to be talking about a lot of the whys. If you want really specific details about what some of this functionality looks like, please visit our my.osisoft.com site, and you can do that today. So first, I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about our new online case creation and management process. So the first thing that we have to say is that we are going to be retiring email as a way to initiate a case. Not the ongoing communications about a case, but as a way to initiate an actual new case. So what that means is on March 4th, tech support at OSIsoft.com will be retired in favor of this online case creation process. Now, the first thing that everyone would say at that is, well, that's a big change. I found that very convenient. That was very easy. But then when you start digging into that, you realize that email becomes a very inefficient way of actually initiating a case. More often than not, the first communication that our support engineers have back to our customers is not, hey, here's some possible solutions to your problem. It's, hey, can you give me more information about who you are, what site you're at? Talk to me about your software, your versions, your information. And that's the first, if not the second, main interaction between a customer and a product support engineer through an email initiation. We want to remove that. That's non-value added time. We want to kind of remove that, so our first interaction with our customers is really about solving the problem at hand rather than gathering administrative work. So give this process a try and see how well it fits that type of idea for you. Now, when we look at a case process, and this is another thing that as a customer I was often very unsure of whom to contact, we're actually looking at case initiation much more than just technical issues. So we talk a lot about opening doorways. Whom do I contact? Each time you're trying to search for who to contact or we have to reroute a case, that again is an inefficient process, non-value added time. So what we're doing is we're asking you up front, hey, what kind of case are you actually trying to open? And this is the way that you can communicate any kind of problems that you have through this online process with OSIsoft. So if maybe you have a problem with sales and licensing, maybe you used to email tech support, and then we would try to route that to the right person. Well, now you just open a case of that type, and it will get to the right person right away, and then the first interaction we have with you can actually try to help you solve your problem as opposed to administrative work. One of the other things that we're trying to do is when you do initiate a technical case, we're going to ask for a little bit more information up front. Now, what that means is to be able to pick, hey, what product are you using, what licenses are you associated with, site are you at, maybe the product versions. All of this information, we gather it. The more that we have up front, again, with the idea that the first interaction we have with you is actually an attempt to solve the problem instead of trying to gather all this information. It makes it much easier for us to see where your software could have the problem and where we're actually able to solve that. And it actually gives us the ability, as I get into the next screenshot, if you give us this information up front, it actually allows us, as you're typing your problem out, to search our knowledge base based upon the product and the versions that you have. As you're actually filling the case creation process out, it's going through and suggesting articles that could possibly solve your problem out of our knowledge base. And I'll get into a little bit more of what our new knowledge base is going to look like. But this is a feature that allows you at first contact, even on a digital contact, with OSI to try to start solving your problem and to enable those who want to self-serve. Maybe this knowledge base article solve your problem. You can go try that before you go through the process of contacting us. The whole idea of solving problems faster by putting more information at your fingertips, even as you're going through submitting a case to us. So the next thing I'm going to talk about a little bit is our expanded knowledge base. So today we have a very broad knowledge base. We have lots of information out there. But one of the things that we find with that is it's not conducive necessarily to what I just showed you from a case submission process, where you're asking a question or you're looking for a very simple solution to a problem. So what we have done is we've simplified the format of our knowledge base. We've taken it into a very simple kind of issue environment solution problem where I have this problem. It's written in the way that customers ask us questions. It showed up on this environment, these pieces of software and these versions, and here's a very simple step-by-step solution to that problem. Again, with the idea that these are things that customers can use themselves to solve their problems quicker. We've also gone down the route of knowledge becomes part of our overall case management process. So as we see problems come in and there's not knowledge articles that shows the solution to that problem, we can very quickly, as we're solving the problem, as we're working the case, after that's done, create a very simplistic knowledge article that allows the next customer who comes up with that problem, puts it into our online case process or searches for it, and they can see that solution. So they can use that information more and more, and we build up this knowledge base, and we build it up constantly with every new problem that we see. And the final piece is we're talking about I'll call it a more transparent knowledge base. So one of the things that I always had when I was a customer is, like, I know you guys have the ability to search for things outside of what I see in the public website, or I have things that are more that you guys do in terms of what our PSEs have. So what we've done is, again, by creating knowledge as part of this overall process and opening up all this, our goal is to open all of our knowledge up so our customers can also use it to help to solve their problems. And again, it's the idea that you as a customer can self-serve. You can find the information. It's right there at your fingertips. To go along with that, what we've also done is enhanced our search capabilities. This is probably the #1 feedback item that we have from our current tech support site, that it's difficult to search, that I try to find things and I'm not necessarily seeing what I should be seeing. So what we've done is we've gone out and created and included a very enhanced search engine as part of this overall customer portal. It's tunable. It gets better over time. It searches all of our OSIsoft resources to find solutions to your problems. You can see not only are we looking at our knowledge base, but we're looking at things like pi squared or documentations, known issues, videos. All of these things are being searched as part of this engine. But one of the things I'll point out, in order to use this enhanced search engine, in order to search our knowledge base, in order to search based on context and product, you will have to go to our customer portal in order to perform that search, because those pieces are integrated together. The more that we know about the products and systems that you have, the more that you're able to give us up front, the better that search experience, so you can actually pinpoint what is your problem. And that is all designed together within this portal. So these are the three main areas that we talk about in terms of the support pieces when I look at our digital interaction. So now let me move on to a little bit, something I'll just call more than support. This is one of the areas where we talk about opening doorways, that we talk about creating connections and interactions to more than just our support organization. So what I've shown here is actually a page that we talked about contacting us, where not only do you have the ability to, we contact phone support or you contact web support, but also how do you get support from our community on Pi Square? Maybe you need to talk to your account manager or your customer success manager. All of these things are right there at your fingertips, so you know who to call and who to contact with these various issues. It's the idea that we put this in front of our customers so that the first person they contact is the one who can actually solve their problem. And then we kind of move a little bit forward to the idea of information visibility. So one of the things I'm showcasing here is the visibility of services, things that we have never really presented out to our customers before. What services are active at your site? When are they scheduled? What is the actual start date? And you can even go here and actually request a service, the idea to self-serve, to be able to say, I need a new installation at this site that I'm having. Let me fill out the basic information. And I can submit that in, and then we'll work through the service process, scope it out with you, and then you'll see that progress on our site on an ongoing basis. You have visibility to the information, things that I'm not necessarily highlighting here, but there's also the idea of quotes that, again, we put information out in front of you. Here's the quotes that you have. You can then upload POs against those, or you have your success objectives. So those who have a customer success manager and EPM knows that we talk about creating mutual success objectives. Well, this is a means for us to track that, to follow along with that and to have follow-up around those ideas. So we kind of continue on with this idea. We bring up a customized homepage. So again, the idea here is this is personalized. This is information that you need to make decisions, to know where you need to take action, to know what things are important to you right up front. You have the ability to say, I'm really interested in security or product release information, so your feed just contains that. Or I need to know how many services I have open at my site, so you have the ability to add a little widget on the top that shows you the number of services they're open. Or, I really need to know how many cases that OSIsoft is waiting for me to respond to or waiting for my team to respond to. All of this information is out there so that it's right in front of you. You can take action against it. You know where you need to look and where you need to work. And the final piece, and this has been another thing that we have had a lot of requests from our customers, is the visibility of who we have defined as a user for support and for our support organization. So in the past, you used to have to send an email, say, hey, this person has joined my team. Please give them the same access that I have within the support, within the downloads, within anything around our current support process. Excuse me. So what you have now here is you have visibility into all those people, and you don't have to email us. You go in and you configure a person. You decide what sites they have access to. You have the idea of, you can define what a person's role is. You have visibility of this information. You have control of this information. We do not want to act as a middle person between yourself and who should be contacting OSIsoft for support. We want you to be able to control that. We want to have a very simple user edition. If anyone has worked through our current TSA process where you fill a format and email it out, and then we email it back, and following over the course of a couple of days, a person has access. Well, now what you have the ability to is just to go onto the site as a site administrator and say, give this person access to these sites as this role. And that is all right there in front of you. You have total control over that. It's entirely up to you. You have visibility into all of those people who have access to a site. You also have the ability, you can see here, to deactivate someone. So when someone leaves the organization or a consultant stops working for a particular site, you have the ability to deactivate that user. Again, you have all of this control. You can dictate who we should work with as a support organization rather than having to pass that information on to us. So those are what I would say is the 6 major areas that we've looked at for this from a digital transformation perspective. I've kind of highlighted all of those things, the reasoning behind it, why we're doing certain changes. So now your next question would be, okay, so we're making this change on March 4th. We are cutting over to our new customer portal. What is available to me as a customer? So what I will say to you is go to my.osisoft.com. It's currently information around the features and things that are coming. On March 4th, it will then flip over to be the main hub for all of information around our customer portal. The links to where you do things, typical types of processes like your downloads, create a case, view your cases, all that. You'll have links. You'll have links there to all the how-to information, how to search for products, and I'll show you a little bit more as to what that training material is going to look like. You'll have links into not only is that training material going to be in English, but we also have that training material provided in various other languages. The portal will initially launch in English, but we wanted to make the training materials available in all of our major languages to help those who work in those different regions. There we go. So to give everyone an idea of what our training material looks like, the whole idea here is we wanted to provide very simple kind of annotated walkthroughs of how to do certain tasks, of how to open a case, of how to get a login, of how to actually download a product, how to manage users, with the idea that I need to accomplish a task. Let me provide you with step-by-step instructions of how to actually do that. As I've mentioned, we're going to be translating this into all of our major languages and have that available when we go live. And finally, we're actually going to create a number of video walkthroughs for those that learn in that manner for some really specific tasks that are very, very common. So look for all that information as part of the training material. It will all be in this one place at my.osisoft.com. So going forward, if there's a few things I want to take away and leave you all with this webinar, our new OSIsoft customer portal is going to launch on March 4th. We are not changing how we do support, but we're trying to enhance your digital experience with our support organization. The whole idea of this is we want to provide more information available to you at your fingertips to make it easier to find, to make the interactions you have with us more streamlined, to get to the idea of solving your problems faster. As I mentioned earlier, tech support at OSIsoft.com, the email address is going to be succeeded by our online case submission process. One of the other things I'd like to mention around there is that we know that there are some language-specific email boxes where people do initiate some cases and those will still be available to you at this initial go live, with the idea that we'll also be retiring those as we localize the portal into those languages. So ultimately our idea is we want to forego email to use the more efficient online case submission process. And again, I can't stress this enough, when we go live, go to my.osisoft.com. You'll see more information today, and that will be your hub for all of the training materials going forward. So kind of at this point, we'll ask if anyone has any questions, and we'll see what I can answer.
Thank you, Randy. At this time, we'll be taking questions from our audience. Once again, please use the Q&A option to the right of your WebEx interface, and we will answer your questions as they arise. If you happen to change your view to full screen, the Q&A option may now be located at the bottom. All right, so let's see if we have any questions available. Randy, is WebEx going to be the preferred remote support portal going forward rather than BombGuard?
No, our standard support remote access tool is still going to be BombGuard. The nice thing is, by moving to this new portal, we actually have BombGuard integration as part of the whole case management process, so that we can initiate and actually save the recordings as part of the cases themselves rather than having to go to various other locations. We will still use WebEx if that is what a customer prefers, and in cases where things should not be recorded, we will be using WebEx.
Okay, thank you. Is there any way or functionality in the tool that we can control the product download access within the team?
So when we talk about customer user management, when you define a customer, you have the ability to define the role that they have. And we've got a pretty detailed table that's included as part of our training material, and is actually on my.OSIsoft today, that shows you what type of access people will have based upon the role that you select for them. And there's a specific role for a download user. So yes, you have control over who can download software based upon the roles.
Excellent. Will the new system allow us to see requests from other members in our organization?
So the new system will allow you to see support cases initiated by other members of your team based upon the sites that you have access to. So the idea there is that not only can you see those cases that you've submitted, but also maybe the cases that your team has submitted, if there's anything similar, what the old solutions to problems were, but it's all based upon the access in which you are granted. So you will only see cases for members of your team that for sites you're given access to. So it's access controlled.
Thank you. Our next question, will the new portal include all content that is currently on the existing tech support page, such as alerts, system, roadmap, known issues, etc.?
So a lot of the specific things that you talked about are actually being migrated into the new portal. So it will have all the alerts, release announcements, known issues, all will exist in the portal. There are some things that we will still, like product roadmap as an example, is the current system is still being kept in order to convey that information. The linkage will just be different. So there are still some pieces of information, but you will have the information that you have access to today in terms of those things will be the information that will exist in the future. It just might be in a different format.
Excellent. Randy, how does this affect PySquare users?
PySquare isn't really being touched as part of this. I mean, the PySquare community is the PySquare community, and that still will be there going forward. So there's really no change in that. I mean, PySquare is also something that the portal is searching too. So it becomes another resource, but we're not changing the PySquare community with this portal launch.
Okay. Will existing knowledge base and PySquare content stay as is, or will this content get moved or merged into this new portal?
So as part of the last question, we're not touching PySquare as part of the customer portal. The current knowledge base, we're actually migrating a lot of the current knowledge base from our current technical support site, and we're actually reformatting the vast majority of that knowledge base to fit into this more simpler, easier to use, easier to search format. When we go live, you will see a lot of the same content that is currently in our knowledge base in the tech support site. We prioritize moving things based upon that which was used the most. Over time, and because knowledge is also part of our overall case management process, you'll see more and more knowledge being created than we would have in the past. So yeah, so most of the things are being migrated in, but you'll see knowledge created at a much higher rate than we used to.
Our next question is a customer user management question. Can external users be granted access for support using external email addresses?
Yes. I mean, the short answer to that one is yes. I mean, we want you to be able to control who has access to your system. We are not in any way limiting the email domains that you can add users from, so you have total control over that.
Thank you. All right, and our last question, will the new system allow us to see requests from other members in our organization?
I think that's a duplicate question.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've answered that one already, but the short answer is based upon your sites, yes. Based upon the sites you have access to.
Okay. All right, well, if there are no further questions, I'd like to thank everyone for attending today's webinar. If you would like to view this again or share it with a colleague, an on-demand version will be available on OSIsoft.com. If you happen to have additional questions following today, please feel free to reach out to your CSM or EPM for more information. And last but not least, don't forget about PyWorld, our annual North American event that's happening April 8th through 12th in San Francisco. This is your opportunity to gain hands-on experience evolving your collected data into key insights using the OSIsoft Pi system. And our Tech Support Central section will be based on the new portal where we can walk you through the new system. Once again, thank you for attending our webinar, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.